All right, guys, so we're working today with Georgia, who is familiarized with a harness, which you can see is already on her, and a back tie, and we're going to be demonstrating how we're going to develop some drive and grip with the use of a back tie. This is really useful for someone that's working by themselves as they build up the game of tug, and you can tell she's already excited to come on over and get on this back tie here. Just remember, the angle of the back tie is super important, so notice I got the anchor point up high on the tree, and then it's going to connect down to her on her harness. I've got this leash on her. I didn't have her do any type of obedience as we walked up. I just let her walk on up. This is our training area where we're going to get all excited and intense, so I just let her walk on up freely. Okay, I am going to leave the leash on her right now, so I can use that if I need to assist me with some outwork. She is also remote collar conditioned, right? So we can use that too if we need to. But just notice her behavior right now. She's super comfortable with the back tie. I've got the tug item. She knows that the game is about to start, right? So all I'm going to do, I've got this tug item. I'm going to kind of taunt her with it. So I'm going to toss it in her direction, and I'm going to pull it back, okay? And I'm going to toss it in her direction, right outside of her reach, and I'm going to pull it back just like you guys see there. Now notice she is vocalizing. That will happen with some dogs. Okay, and whenever you're ready, you can let your dog grab a hold of that. Okay, so you let your dog grab a hold of it, right? Notice how she's thrashing it, right? I'm just going to hold on to this line right here, and it's also super important for me as the handler to watch where that back tie is going. So notice how the back tie is in good position right now. If it ever goes underneath one of her legs, that's a problem. We definitely don't want that happening because we don't want any hip issues or any impact to her, right? So notice where the tug is in her mouth. So notice it's about a half grip right here on her mouth. You can see that clearly, okay? And so all I'm gonna do, she's satisfying herself by thrashing and pulling on the tug. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this line and I'm gonna apply some tension by stepping back to that back tie. So now notice how the back tie is getting tight. And now the tug line is tight, so it's harder for her to hold on to that, and she wants to hold on to that prey item. To give her some slack, I'm just gonna step forward and let her hold on to that item and thrash it, and while she's doing that, I'm just gonna pop, 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 and then take a break, right? Pop, 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 take a break, right? Pop, 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 take a break, and this is all simulating what a prey item would do. And remember, the goal here is we want to increase her drive for the tug item, and we also want to develop the grip as time goes on. Notice she has not moved the tug at all in her mouth. It's all in that same position, okay? So again, I can put some tension into this back tie right here by just stepping back with my line, okay? Notice the tension is now applied, right? She feels that tension. She feels challenged for the prey item. If I want to give her slack or reward for that, I can just step forward and let her continue just to thrash and have a good time with this tug item. And I'm just gonna pop, 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 take a break, pop, 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 take a break, pop, 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 take a break, okay? Now, as I'm doing that, if I wanna come in here and get close to her, okay, all I'm gonna do is hold on to this tug. I can play tug with her with the back tie, okay? Notice how she is now what we call countering. She's digging in deeper to that tug. So watch her grip as I work here. You'll notice her dig deeper just like that, and that's exactly what I want to see, okay? Also notice the back tie position in relation to me and her. It's slack right now. I'm working in a semicircle around the back tie point. I'm very aware and cognizant of that back tie position. I do not want it getting up underneath her legs, okay? Good. She's digging in pretty deep on this tug item, so I'm going to put some tension onto that back tie like that, and then I'm going to back off, okay? I'm going to back off on this line, all right, and allow her to have the tug without me. Now, with that being said, this just got between her toes, caught her by surprise, she let go of the tug. We don't want that to happen if something gets caught in between her toes, but all we can do is just develop the drive and continue to go through repetitions, okay? So she obviously has a very high drive. So again, you can go through the motions that we just did. You can also grab the tug like this and bring it in at her shoulder level and let her have it. And you're basically playing tug on the back tie, using the back tie as a way to help you control her and her movements, okay? So we've covered a lot of material up to this point. Now let's talk about how we're going to be using the out on the back tie, okay? So we got her on the back tie. I do want the back tie to be slack. Then I say, Georgia, out. Yes, okay? So we've already worked on all that out position. I'm just slacking out here. Pop, 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 take a break. Pop, 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 take a break, right? But we talked about the out in another video, right? And the out is very, very strong with her, as you can see. But when you're doing that, I'm gonna take this leash off now. When you're doing that, you're gonna have to be very cognizant of the back tie, right? So I don't wanna say out and then reward her for that, and then she not be able to get the reward because of the back tie, okay? Notice how she's kind of chewing here on the tug item. We don't want that, so if we see that, we're gonna immediately go to tension, okay? And then we can slack in, good. Out. Notice the back tie tightness right there. Sit, no, sit, yes, okay? Good, okay, so once you get the out developed far enough, you can throw some obedience in there as well. Notice how she's getting kind of chewy, so we want to you know, prevent that as much as possible. Not as important with a pet dog as it is with a working dog, okay? But still some good habits that you can instill. So we're playing tug on the back tie is slack. I'm just playing back and forth within the range of the back tie. I want to see good behavior of her biting deeper on the tug. I want to see good drive, good. She just dug a little bit deeper in her mouth, good, good. I'm gonna put some tension on here, okay? Go out to my line, pop, 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 take a break, pop, 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 take a break, and that's just keeping her engaged with that item, okay? We see really good drive, we see, okay? So notice how she was just chewing there, and as I popped it, it popped right out of her mouth, which is what we want, okay? Because we don't want her to chew on it and get satisfied from that too long. So as soon as she's chewing on it, I can pop that out of her mouth, all right? And then she loses the item. That's the very simplistic explanation. Obviously, there's more that can be discussed there, okay? But we've talked about the drive. We've seen the drive, okay? Obviously, we have very high drive. She's very comfortable with the harness and the back tie setup. We talked about being aware of that back tie in relation to her back legs. We talked about playing tug on the back tie, using the out on the back tie as we continue to develop it with the other videos that we have in this series, right? We've already talked about the out a little bit, okay? But now we're just doing another level of it, okay? We talked about how to work that tug and so on and so forth, okay? So this is a really good example of a session. Georgia, out. Good, yes, okay. This is a really good example of a session that's going really well as we continue to develop that drive and the grip, okay? And we're gonna be doing repetitions of this and playing, having a good time, all right, with our dog as we go through this. We're gonna get some examples of dogs that might not be at this level of drive or comfort level with the back tie, so stand by for that.